Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of Western Sahara Uncovered. Today we're going to talk about the plundering of natural resources in Western Sahara. The richness of Western Sahara when it comes to natural resources is one of the main reasons for Morocco's illegal occupation of the territory. Valuable resources such as phosphates, fisheries, and potentially oil and gas are exploited without the consent of the Sahrawi people, and this is totally illegal. We can also find this illegal exploitation when it comes to agriculture, infrastructure, renewable energy, sand and salt, and valuable minerals. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the legal aspect of this exploitation of Sahrawi natural resources by the Moroccan occupation. As we have mentioned in prior videos, in 1975, the International Court of Justice confirmed that there were no ties of sovereignty between the territory of Western Sahara and Morocco, and thus the Sahrawi people have the right to self-determination. This is a very important ruling, but it's not the only one that confirms that Morocco has no sovereignty over Western Sahara. In 5 consecutive rulings from the year 2016 to the year 2021, the European Court of Justice confirmed that Morocco has no sovereignty of Western Sahara, as they are 2 separate and distinct territories. As a consequence, the court ruled that the EU agreements with Morocco cannot be extended to Western Sahara in a lawful manner, unless with the explicit consent of the people of the territory. The ruling of September 29, 2021 confirmed the legal standing of the Polisario Front as the internationally recognized representative of the Sahrawi people. Upon reviewing Morocco's performance under the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights in 2015, the UN Treaty Body on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights urged Morocco to respect the rights of the Sahrawis to be informed and to give their prior consent to the exploitation of their resources. Morocco has been occupying Western Sahara for nearly 5 decades, and it uses the plundering of natural resources to reinforce this occupation. Morocco tries to normalize this occupation by signing treaties and agreements with other organizations and governments, because by signing these treaties and agreements, those governments and organizations are somehow recognizing the sovereignty of Morocco over Western Sahara. This is not something that only us the Sahrawis say. The Moroccan authorities themselves say that. A leaked document of the Moroccan Foreign Affairs Ministry shows how it is using the case of Russia, for example, to directly affect its decision in the Security Council, since it would have economic interests in the territory. Also, quoting Morocco's Minister of Fisheries in 2006, the financial aspect of the EU-Morocco Fisheries Agreement is not necessarily the most important aspect of this agreement. The political aspect is just as important. The plundering of natural resources in Western Sahara revolves around several elements. We'll be focusing today on phosphates and fisheries. Western Sahara is home to significant phosphate deposits, a vital resource for fertilizers and agriculture production. Morocco has been illegally exploiting the phosphate mines in the region and exporting the resource without the consent of the Sahrawi people. As of 2022, there were exports to India, Mexico, New Zealand, as well as smaller shipments to countries such as the Philippines, Australia, and Israel. Ravens down and balanced agri-nutrients have been some of the biggest importers in the last decades. For you to have an idea, Morocco's revenue from its illegal exploitation of Sahrawi phosphates for last year has been over $650 million. Lastly, it is also important to mention cases of companies that withdrew from Western Sahara due to the Moroccan illegal occupation of the territory. The Norwegian phosphate giant Yara declared that it is under the present circumstances worthwhile to refrain from purchasing phosphate originating from Western Sahara, and that the firm hopes that the country will be liberated one day, and then the inhabitants will benefit if we can receive their phosphate quickly. The second natural resource that we're going to talk about today is fisheries. Western Sahara waters in the Atlantic Ocean are rich in marine resources, including fish stocks. Morocco has been exploiting these fisheries through agreements with the European Union and with countries such as Russia, Japan, and Turkey, allowing their fishing fleets to operate in the waters of Western Sahara. This is not concerning only from the legal aspect because it lacks the consent of the Sahrawi people, but it's also concerning from the environmental aspect as well. These companies have been overfishing and overexploiting the waters of Western Sahara. So the day that the Sahrawi people gain their freedom and move back to their country, Western Sahara, they will find it very difficult to start building their state based on their natural resources, including the fisheries. In 2021, 17 shipments were made to Turkey, transporting over 50,500 tons of fish meal. This shows very well the situation that we are living in the Sahara refugee camps depending on international aid, and that our brothers and sisters are living under the Moroccan occupation in the occupied territories. We actually do not need the donations of anybody, neither of the European Union or the United Nations, as long as international law is respected. Once we get our right to self-determination and build our independent state in Western Sahara, then we will not need the donations of anybody. We have enough resources to build our own country for our people. And for you to have an idea of Morocco's revenue from the exploitation of Western Sahara waters, we'll take a look at the data of the year 2020. And this is the Moroccan government's data itself. In terms of value, the catch from Western Sahara coastal waters accounted for 63.26% of Morocco's total revenue from that year. You can find the plundering of natural resources in other areas as well, including infrastructure, agriculture, salt, sand, and minerals. Lastly, we would very much like to thank Western Sahara Resource Watch for all the work that they have been doing, reporting and denouncing the exploitation and the plundering of the natural resources of Western Sahara by the Moroccan occupation. And without them, the making of this video wouldn't have been possible. We will leave a link to their website in the description down below, where you can find more information regarding the plundering of natural resources in Western Sahara, and where you could also support them because the work that they do is of great value.